Alright guys, so I have accidentally kind of poked the hornet's nest this time. Unfortunately, I've kind of inserted myself into a little bit of a tornado here. A lot of drama, I've been getting a lot of hate recently. So this whole thing has kind of gotten out of hand, so I figured what I would do today is try and get ahead of this thing and explain what's going on and explain what I mean. Okay, so here it is. Here's the reason why I'm in the bad girl books at the minute. This is what people have been going wild over. Now I want to warn you, this might upset some viewers. Lot of very confused wargamers running around. Let me clarify. You are not a Warhammer hobbyist. You are a Warhammer fan. Even if you have only played Warhammer. Just because I only read Stephen King books doesn't make me a King hobbyist. It just makes me not very well read. And then I followed up with this hit tweet as well. Don't let corporations be the gatekeepers to your hobbies and interests. Don't internalize brands as your identity. Be willing to try new things. I guarantee you'll find new experiences to enjoy. I feel like I'm running a cult deprogramming service over here, folks. Because it does sometimes feel like I'm running a cult deprogramming service. And this, predictably, has inspired a lot of hate. People have not taken kindly to this tweet. At all. At all. So, essentially, what these tweets are trying to say in the smuggest way possible, it is Twitter. You only get a couple of characters to make your points. What I'm saying is that it's kind of weird, isn't it, that so many wargamers identify themselves as Warhammer hobbyists. It's a weird kind of language to use. I'm saying that we shouldn't define ourselves along the lines of the brands that we consume, as opposed to the activities that we perform. I thought this, honestly, kind of a milquetoast take. I didn't think this was such a big deal. But oh boy, did people not like this. Warhammer Hobby, trademarked, Twitter, was not happy at all. So here are some example tweets. Here's the most public ones. Do everyone a favor and shut the f up already. Games Workshop doesn't give a f that you broke up with them. Just let it go. Lot of very confused music listeners out there. You're not a metalhead. You just listen to music. There are a lot of genres out there. You don't get to say you like specific ones. And I will say this much. There are people out there who have taken a knife and carved the word Slayer into their chest, and they will look at you funny if you told them that it's the only band you listen to. I am a Warhammer hobbyist because it is the only wargame system I engage with. I don't engage in the wider wargame hobby, just the Warhammer portion. This gatekeeping of labels is cringe and acts to police language on what people use to talk about what they do. Pedantic gatekeeping like this is why people tend to avoid wargaming. It makes us all look like pretentious assholes. Take the fedora off and let people enjoy whatever TT miniature images they want. LMAO. Why do people care about stuff like this? What is there to be confused by, except by the idiot telling you that you're confused? Don't tell people what things are to them. Nobody asked you, and honestly, it's none of your business. But if you're going to, at least use the right language to discuss it. So if you play the game, enjoy collecting the minis, painting them, showing off your work to others, talking about it, and things other hobbies do, you're not a hobbyist, you're a fan? That's the literal logic you used here? Yeah, you're a fan. No. My hobby is D&D. If engaged with D&D as a hobby, then that's my hobby. There are 10,000 other RPG systems that I don't engage with. That does not make me less of a TRPG hobbyist, or merely a fan of D&D. When I wargame, it's Warhammer, so my hobby is Warhammer. Jesus Christ, this is insufferable bullshit. Just let people be who they say they are. What the actual fuck? Stupid! I did not realize that this would be a controversial statement. I honestly didn't. Warhammer is not special. It's not unique. It's an IP. It's a brand. It's a franchise. I didn't build a Twitter account until like this year. I've had it for like half a year. That's it. I wasn't on Twitter before that. So when I first arrived, and I discovered that almost the entire wargame hobby community had organized themselves on that platform around this hashtag of Warhammer, and they've organized themselves around the warmonger hashtag. Yeah, that actually kind of terrified me a little bit. I was like, wait, hold on. How are you meant to break into this market if you're not Warhammer? How are you meant to get eyes on it? Anybody who posts up non-Warhammer miniatures, nobody cares. Nobody wants to see that. You can't get into the hashtags, never mind actually present it and put it in front of people. And that is upsetting to me. I don't want a single company monopolizing this hobby. I want there to be choice. I want there to be competition. I want people to be able to choose what games they want to play. And that can only happen, by the way, if they get to see those games, if they get to understand that's the case. One of the problems that we really have right now is that the wargame hobby is the Warhammer hobby. And for 99% of people, Warhammer is synonymous with the word wargaming. And that comes with problems. It comes with really big problems. Because Games Workshop are not benevolent custodians. They're pretty malevolent. For the last, 30 odd years, Games Workshop have attempted to brand Warhammer as, quote, the hobby. You'll see it across all of their marketing. It's basically, at this stage, it's their corporate slogan. And that's all it is. It is just marketing. It is just corporate slogan. And to be frank, okay, we should resist marketing and corporate slogans. Because this marketing, these slogans, they're used for a reason, and it's not for us. It's not for consumers, it's not for hobbyists. The reason why Games Workshop have invented the term Warhammer hobbyist is so that individuals don't perceive themselves as part of a market. So the Games Workshop don't need to actually compete with other companies. So, for example, as one person put it, if you Google the words Warhammer starter set, you get very, very different results than if you Google the words miniature wargame starter set. It's entirely purposeful. This is not a neutral label that you assign to yourself. It is a political one. It has an impact on the marketplace. Okay, I see so many people, they say to me, I'm a Warhammer hobbyist. They describe themselves as Warhammer hobbyists. And they justify this by saying that they don't play or don't have any interest in any other war game. But here's the thing. They do enjoy wargaming. They enjoy collecting miniatures. They enjoy painting miniatures. They enjoy playing Warhammer as a war game. They are war gamers, but they have cut themselves hopelessly off from the rest of the wargame hobby by creating this self-imposed mind prison on themselves. They have accepted this label and boundary that has been created by a single company in the wargaming space. They act that because this isn't a Warhammer miniature, that therefore all of their painting techniques, they're just not going to enjoy it because it's not based in Warhammer. This thing is cool, alright, it's cool. And yeah, I resent it. I resent when people accept labels that have been imposed on them by a single company. And yeah, I've got opinions on when people allow corporations to define them. And I say that to everyone. Do not let a single company define who you are. And when I say all of this, this isn't me gatekeeping, this isn't me policing language. That's me asking folk to open their mind to new experiences. I have no capacity to police the language of how people describe themselves. I can only give my opinions. And all I ask is that individuals define themselves by the activities they perform as opposed to the brands that they consume. It's fine to be a Warhammer fan. I am a Warhammer fan. I enjoy Warhammer. I play Warhammer. I build Warhammer miniatures. I paint Warhammer miniatures. I talk all the time about Warhammer. I engage with Warhammer as a game. But that just means that I collect miniatures, that I play war games, that I play video games. All of which happen to be about a particular setting. And for some reason, this insistence that words are words and that fan means a certain thing and hobby means another thing, it has driven people absolutely wild. And look, here's the thing. This is super close to my heart. I feel really passionate about this. This does actually matter to me. I get that a lot of people think it's just semantics, it doesn't matter, but it really does to me. I speak to indie developers, I speak to small wargame companies every single day. And let me tell you, it is a bleak fucking place to be. You can try to get people interested in your wargame and you will be hit with a cavalcade of people who insist that they only enjoy wargames in this one IP. You can have a better game, you can have better prices, you can have better miniatures, it doesn't matter. People have decided, they have closed their minds off to this thing. And it is so hard for smaller companies to break into the wargame market whenever 99% of the participants in that market don't even know that the wargame market exists. They think it's just Warhammer. It's the Warhammer hobby. They've never even heard the term wargamer. Not really. And this impacts real people. It has a real material effect on the wargame marketplace. So yeah, I feel really, really passionate about this. The Warhammer hobby identity stifles the market. And this matters to me because I'm a wargamer. I play war games. I collect miniatures. I paint miniatures. I care about the war game market. I really care about it. I've dedicated my life to the war game market. It's really important to me. I get dressed up like a Dark Eldar, make an ass of myself in front of everybody. I'm a dancing monkey for this place. I fucking love it. And to see this hobby get ascribed a single brand and to have the experiences that you can have inside this hobby get condensed into a single game, that really annoys me. It really upsets me. It really does. And look, my point isn't that if you're someone, right, that only plays Warhammer, that only builds Warhammer miniatures, only paints Warhammer, I'm not saying you're a bad person. I'm not saying anybody's a bad person. Nobody is required. Nobody needs to play a variety of games. Nobody has to do that. I'm not trying to judge anybody here. It's just that the actions of consumers in this marketplace has a material impact on the marketplace. Part of the issue is that so many people just don't have any interest in other war games because really they don't even know about other war games. They don't even know that there's other war games that can be part of this hobby. And if that's how people think of themselves as Warhammer hobbyists, is it any surprise then when they organize themselves around the labels and the discourse of Warhammer? Is it any surprise that on Twitter everybody's talking about hashtag Warhammer and hashtag Warmongers, or that the biggest war game subreddit in the entire world is the r/Warhammer 40k subreddit? Is it really a surprise then when everyone just perceives themselves as part of the Warhammer hobby, the exceptionalist hobby? Have no mistake, this has a chilling effect on the rest of the market. It does. And personally, I think that's bad. So all I ask is for people to be introspective about their hobbies, about how they label themselves, about how they think about this hobby, how they engage with this hobby. And I'm especially introspective about it because, well, for like 10 years, I was only a person who played Warhammer. I perceived myself as a Warhammer hobbyist. I don't even know about other war games. People like that exist. In fact, I would say that most people in the war game market, that's all they know about. Warhammer isn't unique in the wargaming hobby at all. It's just another brand. If you play nothing but Warhammer, it doesn't make you a Warhammer hobbyist. It just makes you a Warhammer fan. You're a fan of it. We've already got a word for this. It's called being a fan. Resist the corporate labels, guys, please, or at least think about them a little. I'm sorry if that offends people, but that is how I feel about it. Just because I build Batman miniature game miniatures, or I paint Batman minis, or I watch Batman movies, or watch the 1990s Batman cartoon, or even read some of the Batman comics, it doesn't make me a Batman hobbyist. I'm a Batman fan. I'm a fan of the franchise. And here's an element of this that's going on as well. It's kind of going at the bottom, the recesses of my mind. I think it's kind of influenced me a little bit here. This feels like a problem that has infested a lot of geek culture. For example, the tabletop role-playing market has cemented itself around Dungeons and Dragons. The collectible card game market has cemented itself around Magic the Gathering. There are people out there who I have been told only watch Marvel movies. This feels kind of dangerous. I get why this happens. There are barriers to entry for many tabletop games. Tabletop games can be expensive. They can take up a lot of time, a lot of energy. We want to be certain that if we're getting into a game, that we can find other gamers, we can find other people to play with, no matter where we go. There's tons of other elements, tons of other reasons why this happened. I think that's like another video for another day. If you're interested in that, let me know. But I just wanted to explain myself. I wanted to explain why I think the term Warhammer hobbyist is problematic, why I think we shouldn't use it, and why I think we should just use the term Warhammer fan, because I think it's just more descriptive, it's more accurate, and it's less destructive to the wargame marketplace, to the wargame hobby. And yeah, actually, I am allowed to have this opinion. I'm allowed to have an opinion on this. I'm allowed to have an opinion on who we give the power to create our labels to. I've always believed that we do have a duty to be informed, educated consumers. And here's the thing, right? If you're somebody who is like, I only play Warhammer, I only know Warhammer, I don't know any other games, here is a way to just quickly get a little bit of an idea of other war games out there. Go to a website at Wayland Games. It's a UK retailer, and there is a link, an affiliate link in the description of this video. But even if you're in the USA, you can still go on this, because we're not going to be buying anything here. And what you want to do is you want to hover over miniatures games. It's the category miniatures games, and just look at their top ranges, and you'll get a list of all sorts of different miniature war games, tons of different ones from all these different genres with all these different experiences to offer. And some of them are cheap, some of them are expensive, some of them have really cool outlandish miniatures. There's all different genres. You've got fantasy games, you got sci-fi games, you've got horror games, you got modern games, you got all sorts of games. The wargame hobby is massive. It has tons of different experiences to offer, not just one. And I don't think it's a point of pride to simply close your mind off and say, I will only try one type of experience, thank you very much. It's like Billy Connolly says, never trust people who have only got one fucking book. And I get that there's a big list of games here, but I tell you what, if you're interested in this, maybe I'll do a video of like my top 5 non-games workshop miniature war games. That's something people will be interested in. Let me know in the comments below. Check it out here. And as always, a huge thank you to my patrons, especially Sonic Bread, and I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye!